Like Obi-Wan Kenobi today. It's kind of weird, but I don't feel like putting on more clothes. This is the holidays and I am not doing anything. So I am taking full advantage of this time that I am chilling. So you get what you get. Take it for what it is. Hopefully everybody had a good holiday or at least a safe holiday, or at least it didn't suck too bad. It's funny because and some of you will be listening to this after the holiday season as we're into the new year. But man, I tell you what, the emphasis that a lot of people put on this particular stretch of time can really serve as a time to be depressed because your life doesn't match all of the commercials that you see on television during this time of year. Well, yeah, with all the loving family and all the gifts and all of that stuff. So, hey, if your life isn't all that great, hey, you have another year to try to get it right. And all you can do is just put one foot in front of the other and just keep it going. But in the spirit of this holiday season, I want to talk about what I did just the other day. I was watching Netflix the other night and I chose to watch this movie called The Noel Diary. Now, this is one of those like Hallmark-ish type flicks, even though I watched it on Netflix, or at least what I imagine one of those Hallmark movies to be like. See, I'm not really a mushy person, and I don't watch many of these types of movies. Actually, as I'm thinking about it, I don't think I watch any of these types of movies. I'm talking about I don't watch many. I don't watch any of these types of movies, to be honest. Thus, why I said that this is what I'd imagine a Hallmark movie to be like. But anyway, from what I understand about Hallmark movies, is that they're primarily about love. That's like what they're going for. Now, don't get me wrong, I really like love. And as such, you think that I'd watch these types of movies. But from what I understand, these movies about love aren't really realistic. And I think in many ways it creates unrealistic expectations from women. And ladies, I'm not really trying to pick on you. Uh, you're just traditionally the ones that watch these types of flicks. I don't think the male demographic for Hallmark type movies or movies like this that wasn't on Hallmark but on Netflix, I don't really think that the male demographic is strong. I don't really think they're advertising or catering to the male demographic when they make these movies. So, ladies, you have to take the brunt on this one. So let me use this movie as an example, The Noel Diary. Let's refer to this as the Dating While Adulting movie review. The first and might even be the only one, most likely the only one. So, okay, the movie starts out with a rich, successful author that has absolutely no woman in his life. He even turns down advances from all fans and groupies or anything like that to sleep with him or whatever. He's just that pure and chaste. The only woman in his life is his dog. Okay, this is the first fallacy. Honestly, and I hate to break it to you ladies, and you probably already know because this is kind of fantasy land. This type of man doesn't exist. A man that is single is not turning down free unattached sex. Yeah, that is not happening unless, of course, he is not attracted to the people that are offering sex. But from looking at the movie and the women that were offering him sex, yeah, he would have taken that. Now, maybe if his dick is little or if his dick doesn't work, maybe he turned down sex then. But that'd probably be the only way, really. So, ladies, if you're thinking that there's a rich, handsome dude living in a cabin, and yes, he did live in a cabin with the dog, just preserving himself, waiting for you to come along, yeah, you probably want to think twice on that one. That one isn't realistic. Anyway, moving on. So, this strange woman shows up to his doorstep looking for signs of her birth parents. And he's really eager to help this total stranger. Now, she's attractive herself. I can't knock that hustle. Um, and she, it's funny because she is literally like standing across the street from his house in the snow, just staring at the house. And not only did he not call the police on her, like I said, he offered to help her. So they went to find his dad because he was having issues with his dad and her birth parents because she had never met them and blah, blah, blah. But here was the big thing. She was engaged And long story short, she seduces him, then feels guilty about it, and then she ghosts him. Then, despite being ghosted, the author, the rich, successful author, tracks her down and basically begs her to be with him. Okay, now that's a lot to digest. At least it was a lot for me to digest. Well, while I'm watching this, thinking this would be a nice love story. At least that's what I thought before I started watching it. This is actually a movie about a woman that's cheating on her fiance and then ghosts the dude that she slept with. I'm watching this thinking about Reggie. Yes, that Reggie. And what he would say about this if he were watching this foolishness. I can hear him basically saying, boy, I can hear women screaming all over the TV. If a man had done something like that, if a man that was engaged and was out here and he was cheating on his fiance and blah, blah, blah. Not to mention that she seemed to be a whole lot more attracted to the rich, successful author after she found out that he was rich and a successful author. So just add that to it. Then after she basically used dude and dude was being used as a chew toy, basically, he winds up stalking her because he had to be with her. Now, I guess you can say that the sex was that good and it just drove him crazy, which I'm not mad at, you know. But ladies, come on now. Let's be real about this thing. This is what passes for romantic movies. Basically, that a woman can do whatever in the world and expect men to just stalk them and fall at their feet. Rich, famous guys at that. Gotta make sure I have to include that part. And this is kind of sad, actually. To me, this movie and movies like it are the equivalent of a man watching the latest Superman movie, climbing onto his roof and jumping off, thinking that he can fly. It's the same kind of realistic expectation, really, when you break it down. And this is what these types of movies are. Like, I can see, and as such, I can see why dating is so messed up if women watch these things in droves, even if they acknowledge the lack of realism in them. It's like, I don't even want this to be a fantasy thing. I'm engaged, but despite my engagement, I'm just going to step out and just do whatever. Like, women have crazy expectations and feel that they should be allowed to do whatever, and men are just supposed to love them through it. Now, obviously, that's a bit much, to blame the woes of dating on to blame the woes of dating on Hallmark style movies really isn't fair. It's actually kind of silly, really, when you break it down. But those movies don't help. I mean, come on now. Also, I can say that this movie is reflect, and honestly, I can't say that this movie is really reflective of all Hallmark style movies because I haven't watched any others. And while I keep referring to it as a Hallmark style movie, this wasn't on the Hallmark network. It was on Netflix. Maybe this is a one-off for Netflix. I mean, and maybe Hallmark style movies are nothing like this. But what's surprising to me is that this movie is also ranked in the top 10 of movies watched on Netflix. So it's obviously popular, and I'm one of them, I guess. So a lot of people have seen it. But I guess what makes me feel a little bit better about the whole thing is that it only got a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb's rating system, and only 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. So maybe people watched it and had the same impression of it that I did. With that said, though, on the other hand, 83% of Google users like claim to have liked the flick. So, I guess I can't knock it. I guess it, but it's deep because if you're a woman, I guess it doesn't sound like a bad deal to you. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that after he stalked her and found her and was like, "Please be with me," she shot him down again, viciously and violently. I might add, not violently, but still viciously. Then eventually, after a while, after just dogging dude, she decided that she wanted to be with him after all. And just shows up at his house again. And the minute he saw her, no questions asked, he's just like, come back. Thank you for coming back. And I tell you what, it's so good to be a woman. It's so tough out here for us poor men, just trying to get along. This is actually an episode of the show that Reggie should have been on. His head would have exploded by now, which would of course made me laugh, as it always does when his head explodes, and he would have gone on some kind of anti-female tirade and all that good stuff. But it was just funny. I just thought that was funny. So that is the Dating While Adulting movie review of the first time ever in 100+ episodes of this that we've done movie reviews. I'm just amazed that these networks or whatever can romanticize someone cheating on their fiance. Whatever works, man. I tell you what, life is something. But that's all I really had to say today. So this is a short one. I just wanted to break that down. If you haven't seen the movie, if you have seen the movie, hit me up and let me know what you thought of it. Maybe I'm just off my square on this one. I doubt it, but at least you can say that. So that's that for that. Once again, whenever you're listening to this, I hope you're having a great season. And you all have to realize that to have a great season, Christmas season, New Year, whatever you want to call it, you kind of have to make it that. So even if it seems bleak, hey, gotta get to stepping, get to trudging to make it better. And it can be made better if not. And if you are just having a great old time, shoot, a gay old time, like the Flintstones used to say, knock yourselves out. Carry it on. I'm not knocking it. All right. I have my hoodie on and I am going to go back to my business of chilling, maximum style. Thank you much for stopping by. Please remember to tell 50 friends, datingwhileadulting.com, Michael at datingwhileadulting.com to email me. And yeah, have a good one. Reggie, you want to say something to the people? Of course not. All right. Bye.